Hey everybody, I wanted to make a video talking about Clone Wars, and I primarily wanted to talk about the last 4 episodes of season 7. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I felt like it deserved to have a review. If you want to be a filmmaker or you want to tell stories or you're interested in any kind of creativity, any kind of creative field, these last 4 episodes are worth watching because they tackle every single category amazingly: visuals, sound, the music. And I wanted to do a review because it is Star Wars, is what Star Wars is supposed to be. So, the first thing I want to talk about are the visuals. I absolutely love the visuals. The visuals were so incredible. There were points in the episodes where it looked real, and there were shots that were so amazing. For instance, the scene between Darth Maul and Ahsoka when they're fighting against each other, there are some incredible visuals there. Like when she drops the lightsaber. I mean, there are incredible visuals. Also, the scene of Vader in the end in the snow. I mean, there are so many moments where it's visually stunning. The snow looked real, and when he walks up and sees the helmet, he sees the lightsaber, and when you see the reflection of him, I mean, it's done so well. And there's so many moments and scenes in these episodes that could become iconic. Like, they are done so well that it has the same kind of feeling of an iconic moment in Star Wars. I thought the scene where Ahsoka is free falling and Rex is trying to pilot the ship, and she's free falling and then she's running in the air and then she's trying to get onto the ship. I mean, it's visually mind-blowing. Animation was incredible. It felt like a movie. It felt real. Like, there were points where it looked real, like I said before. And the animation was so impressive. The music was incredible. They had the scores from the films. They had the scores from Revenge of the Sith. And they had Star Wars themes, but they also had some other music in there as well, other scores in there as well that were amazing. The new score sounded fantastic. I also thought the sound editing was amazing. I thought the sound mixing was really good. I thought all the sound and music was synced really well. I absolutely loved that music theme that was at the end of the show when Ahsoka is looking at the helmets. It was very epic sounding, very emotional. The fight sequences were fantastic. They were massive. They felt like they were on a large, grand scale. The action sequences were incredible. The action and fight sequences felt like they were on the scale of a movie. The fight sequence with Ahsoka and Darth Maul was absolutely incredible and one of the best. It is on par with the fight scenes, with the lightsaber fight scenes in the Star Wars movies, and it was better than any of the Star Wars lightsaber fights in any of the newer Star Wars films. It had the epic music from Revenge of the Sith when Ahsoka is fighting Darth Maul, and that fight sequence was so cinematic, and when I was watching it, it felt real to me when I was watching it. And then when I saw the credits, I don't know if they did like mocap or they watched Ray Park and the stunt woman that did the fight scenes for Ahsoka and then just animated it. And when I saw it was Ray Park, I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's why the fight scene with Darth Maul and Ahsoka felt so real. I really enjoyed the dynamic between Ahsoka and Darth Maul in the last episodes, and I really enjoyed the dynamic between them when Ahsoka says at first that she will help him. That's a really epic moment. There's embers in the air, and it's just done so well that it feels epic when they are talking to each other in that scene. I think that the storylines of Darth Maul have been the most interesting thing for Darth Maul. I liked his storylines of Clone Wars and Rebels, but for me, I felt like this was the most interesting of his character. I really love the interactions of him and Ahsoka, and there's a couple of moments where you feel kind of bad for Darth Maul. And the Sith, the classic with the Sith, the classic tradition of the Sith was that they're all victims. Palpatine, when he was the best cinematic villain before they made it goofy, not Dave Filoni, but before the newest movie made Palpatine goofy, but before he was goofy, Palpatine really was truly the evil Sith, while other Sith were victims. And the whole theme of Star Wars was not letting bitterness turn you dark, and not letting your hurts and everything make you lose yourself. I thought it was a really cool moment when Darth Maul and Ahsoka could both sense what was going on when Darth Maul was locked up in his crate, and Ahsoka could hear the part with Anakin. And I love that they put that from Revenge of the Sith, and you could hear Hayden Christensen. But so I love that moment, and I love the moments with Darth Maul with the way he fought, because I felt like it was how the classic Sith, the classic dark side fighting was. Like you just throwing people in the air, just like using the force and yanking them and throwing them in the air and everything. And that's what it was like. Like I remember like Knights of the Republic, like it was the dark side people would do things like that. So I thought that was done very well, and it was still felt like Star Wars, but I felt like it actually, the scenes of Darth Maul when he fought were, to me, the darkest. I think with Star Wars was showing the dark side, was showing that with it being violent. Loved that they did the classic green Lucasfilm font, and I love that they had the Clone Wars font in red for Revenge of the Sith, and it felt like it was just a story that was a part of Revenge of the Sith. It was like what was going on with Ahsoka during Revenge of the Sith, and they had scenes that were directly from Revenge of the Sith, and references and tie-ins and everything in these episodes. I loved all the fight scenes with the Mandalorians. Those were cool. I loved Bo-Katan. She has become a massive character, and she's always been an important character and a big character, and she came back in Rebels, but she is a main character now. She is a main character, and I absolutely loved her fight scenes. Fight scenes with the Mandalorians felt massive and epic, and there were a bunch of references and things that connected to Mandalorian, Rebels, Clone Wars, everything. Part when the clones honor Ahsoka when they paint their helmets was very emotional. And then when the clones turned bad, when they went crazy from Order 66, it was very sad, and it was very good imagery when they're trying to kill her. They're hunting her down with the helmets painted in the color to honor her. It was very sad, and it was very powerful imagery. Also, the part with Rex when he goes temporary crazy was very, very sad. It was very emotional. There was a lot of emotion, and I was tearing up when he was shaking because at first he was trying to resist killing her. And that part was very sad. And I love that she got the chip out by using the force. And we didn't know how he got his chip out. So that was answered. And I loved the relationship between Ahsoka and Rex. And the part when Rex had to kill the clones to save Ahsoka was sad. And it was like, whoa. I was like, wow, when I watched the scene. There were very many wow moments when I was watching the episodes. I thought it was really cool when Darth Maul used the Force to break the hyperdrive. That was a really, really cool sequence. And I also love the sequence when Ahsoka and Rex crash. It was very cinematic. It was visually stunning. And I love the moment when Rex is looking at Ahsoka, when Ahsoka is looking at the helmets and she has on her gray hood, which is a parallel to the white hood that she wears in the ending of Rebels. And the scene when Ahsoka grabs the ship when Darth Maul is trying to fly away, when he's trying to escape, that was impressive. I loved that scene. And then she let him go because she had to save Rex. But that was a really, really cool scene. The movement of the animation was amazing. It flowed so easily. I actually cried, and the last time I cried with Star Wars, it was tears of disappointment. But these were tears when I watched these episodes. I was crying because it moved me, because it was written well. It made me cry. So it made me feel sad. So it was emotional. It had feeling, and it was sad. It had the same sad feeling of Revenge of the Sith and the same dark tone of the Revenge of the Sith. The ending with Vader was chilling. It was very somber when he found the lightsaber that he gave Ahsoka. And I love that scene when she let go of the lightsaber. And I love the scene when Vader finds it. And you're not sure how long it's been. I wasn't sure when at that point it was in the Empire. I didn't know if it had been a couple years. I wasn't sure. But it was such a great moment when he found her lightsaber and he activated it, and you can kind of sense like this melancholy tone when he does it, and when he looks at the helmet, that has the paint that was supposed to resemble her, that's supposed to honor her, and his reflection is in the helmet, and his reflection is in there when he walks away. That was just visually something else. It was amazing. And that scene with Vader in the snow, it felt real to me. It also felt like I was watching a movie with Vader. It's easy to tell that there was a lot of time and effort and hard work that was put into this, because there was so much attention to detail. And like all the things I mentioned from a technical standpoint, from a visual, from the storytelling, it's a shame that the newest Star Wars films couldn't have been like this, because it would have been incredible. There weren't any mind-blowing fight sequences. There weren't any amazing monster fights. There wasn't anything that really stood out. And so it's a shame. It's a shame. It could have been something else. If it was like how these last episodes were, it would have been something. The only thing memorable from the newest movies was The Last Jedi. There was the porgs, the ice foxes, and the place that was like Vegas. But beyond that, there was nothing that stood out to me. And it's a shame that we didn't see the new Jedi. And it's disappointing that it couldn't have been like these last episodes. These last episodes were Star Wars. They were the feeling of Star Wars, the story of Star Wars, the mood of Star Wars. It was everything you'd expect out of Star Wars. This was the real Star Wars sequel. I do wish we could have gotten a full season, like 20 episodes or 20 something episodes. I do wish that we could have seen Boba Fett kill Cad Bane, and we could have seen Asajj Ventress. And I remember, and I've seen it on YouTube, and it was like early production when the animation was like in pre stages, and they had episodes that they were doing. They were gonna do Boba Fett killing Cad Bane. They were gonna do Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Vos. I do wish I could have seen that. I don't know if maybe Dave Filoni couldn't do a full season, but overall, it was incredible, and it raised questions, and there were things that weren't answered, such as we're still not sure of how did Rex team up with the other clones that were in Rebels, because him and Ahsoka crash. So we're not sure when did those two separate from each other, and why did they separate from each other. So there were questions that were raised, and obviously questions raised of Bo-Katan, and I definitely believe that Dave Filoni has his own story, and he said he wanted to keep on doing the story to George Lucas's vision. So I do believe, and he always has connected everything, so I do believe he has a story in mind, and things that happened in these episodes I believe he will use for future things he's going to do. We're not sure how did the other clones get the chips out of their head. We're not sure about that still, and I remember that Dave Filoni said the original ending for Clone Wars was that Ahsoka was going to be with the wolves. And I don't think he did that because he used that for Rebels. So it would have been like he would have used the same ending twice. So I think that's why the ending was changed in the Clone Wars in season 7. But I liked the ending better. I like the ending with her and Rex more. I'm really happy that Dave Filoni is finally getting the credit that he deserves. It's been great to see him on Disney Plus's The Mandalorian Legacy, and I love that it's a legacy after just one season. That just shows how huge the show is and how much people love The Mandalorian. But so it's been great seeing him on that show, and he was interviewed recently by Entertainment Tonight. So I'm really glad that he's getting the recognition that he deserves. And I really enjoy the show about The Mandalorian, the behind the scenes. I really enjoy hearing all the directors of the episodes talk about the show, and it's what you want directors who are directing Star Wars to be like. They all love the Star Wars. They have all talked about how they have loved Star Wars and how they want to keep the legacy of George Lucas going, and how they want to keep true to George Lucas's vision. So all in all, I absolutely love the last 4 episodes, and it has been, the story is Ahsoka's journey. And that has been the story for the Clone Wars and the story for all of the new stuff. Like when storylines were being made at the time after Revenge of the Sith had come out, it was about her. And so, she's been the character that has kind of led the new Star Wars stories. And she was the massive character in Rebels. She was in Rebels, and her story continued with that. And so it's been about her journey, and I really, really just have enjoyed that. She is a Jedi queen. But anyways, thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope everyone is doing well. And if you guys enjoyed my video, please like it, please give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe. And if you have a favorite moment from the season, from season 7, if you have a favorite moment or scene from the last 4 episodes, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you guys. I obviously have a ton of favorite moments from these last 4 episodes from season 7. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.